but there's a long tradition of these types of voices of conscience. So I just immersed myself in the world of St. Sabina and spent time with Father Mike and his peacekeepers and the community there, and tried to learn as much as I could.
We love you on Windy City Live. Yes, we do. Tell us, how did all this happen? How did this come about?
Well, I play me. I play Val Warner in Chirac, which is really cool. So when people see this movie, they are literally seeing Val, and I am a reporter in the movie.
We talk about the violence, but what can we do personally?
I think we got to be engaged, and I think engaged in a number of things. In our block, in our home, in our neighborhood, we got to be engaged. We got to fight the issues. We got to fight a government that is abandoned, whole communities on the south and the west side. We got to fight a governor who's cut out every youth employment program, who's cut out violence prevention programs, who's abandoned our communities and the poor and the vulnerable. And I think we got to reach out to our brothers on the street and love them and respect them and help them, not just demonize them.
My participation is only because of Mr. Spike Lee, our leader, our director, and he reached out to me and blessed me with the opportunity to be in this film and said that his mission was to save lives in the south side of Chicago.
I'll just say like this. First of all, the history of coming to Chicago and telling my jokes as a young cat. I'm 37 now. I started about almost 15 years ago. Elroy taking me under his wing, let me do some jokes here and there for the radio stations and all that kind of stuff.
We are more than that. We are more than that. We're greater than that. And I feel like in places like this, or Chicago, or whatever you want to call it, the hood, whatever you want to call it, like, it's too much attention dwelled on the negative.
I learned that no matter what you do and how much of a genuine heart you have, and if you're coming from a good place, people are going to criticize if they don't agree with what you're doing.
Hi, we're from Empire, and you're watching the Higher Learning Network.
So how long have you been standing here?
Not too long, like an hour. So we're moving in fast. This is a good sign.
Yo, what's up? It's your man Tony Schofield from 106.3 Chicago's R&B, and you are watching Men on Higher Learning. Now, I used to hang around with some men that was into some higher learning. It just wasn't that kind of higher learning, but I got myself together now, okay?
What is it that you do in your quiet time, in your meditation time, that allows you to bring us the films that you do?
I sit courtside in Madison Square Garden, world's most famous arena.
And you're watching CTV on the Higher Learning Network. Put your head right.
Okay, so yes, it's it. And then you just have to go around the corner.
Described by police as a depot for Black Panther Party arms and ammunition. 14 state attorneys and policemen led by Sergeant Daniel Grove found out indeed it was a depot for weapons. After a 15-minute gun battle that cost Illinois Black Panther Party Chairman Fred Hampton his As soon as Sergeant Daniel Crowe and Officer James Davis, who were leading our men, announced their office, occupants of the apartment attacked them with shotgun fire.
Sir, you say your men were fired upon. Witnesses who have seen the apartment say there is no evidence of bullets from the direction where the Panthers supposedly were to be.
This blatant act of legitimatized murder strips all credibility from law enforcement. In the context of other acts against militant blacks in recent months, it suggests an official policy of systematic repression.
Anyone who went through that apartment and examined the evidence that was remained there could come to only one conclusion, and that is that Fred Hampton, 21 years old and a member of a militant, well-known militant group, was murdered in his bed, probably as he lay asleep.
You are the one to decide yourself what happened in that apartment on the one that's on the floor. You're going to decide whether or not Fred Hampton is identified as the victim of premeditated murder.
Thank you and welcome everyone. I'm very honored to be here and I also want to recognize Hampton, who is Fred Hampton's mother, who is here tonight. Bill Hampton, Fred's brother, and Julie Hampton, and Keshi Paifa, who was also in the apartment that night. In the book, she is referred to as China Doll or Brenda Harris. She's here tonight also. A prestigious and accomplished panel. I feel a little bit like now to sit down and hear what they have to say. I'm really in awe of the people who are here tonight and their accomplishments and their writing. And I want to thank Bernadine for putting it together and for being one of the inspirations for why I wrote this book. It was, Bernadine mentioned that Fred Hampton spoke at Northwestern University Law School almost exactly 40 years ago to the day. And the person who introduced him was a young law student by the name of Flint Taylor, who's sitting in the front row. And apparently, I wasn't there, but Flint sort of stammered through an introduction of Fred. So when Fred got up, he chided Flint and said, well, Flint, you better get it together. But he also knew that Flint helped him get out on appeal bond. And as you know, Flint's got it together. And I don't want to spend the rest of the night talking about his accomplishments. But anyway, another person who was very much touched and moved by Fred Hampton. If you had told me a few years ago that I would be standing here talking about a book that I've written, not to mention a personal narrative, I really wouldn't have believed you. I was a lawyer. I didn't even particularly love writing. Somebody I saw from years ago recently in Seattle said, but you didn't even like to write. And it's true, I must say. I let most of the brief writing go to my partners. But somehow when I stopped doing the day-to-day work of civil rights law, of fighting the government in court every day, I had enough time, a little time to reflect. And what I hit on was, I have a story to tell here, a story that really needs to be told. And I wanted to tell the story of Fred Hampton because even though it was 35 years later, it was the story and a person who had most affected me in my life. We probably all have people when we look back or when we come into a tough situation and we say, what would so-and-so do tonight? What would this person do in this situation? One of those persons for me was Wancho Donahue, the head of the Homeless Coalition. The other person was Fred Hampton, who I knew 35 years ago. So I often think in a tough situation, what's right to do? What would Fred Hampton do? And so I decided, well, this story needs to be told because he affected me so much. Maybe I can tell it in a way that it will affect other people. Times in court, 100 times in court, the judge affirmed. But nevertheless, then we get a document that shows that under this COINTELPRO program, they sent a letter to Jeff Fort, the head of the Rangers, saying, "Dear brother Jeff, I'm a Panther. I've been hanging around with Fred Hampton. Just want you to know they got a hit on you. I know what I'd do if I was you." This was approved by the head of the FBI, Marlon Johnson, who later became the head of the Chicago Police Board. They send this letter to Jeff Ford, and they specifically say it's expected this will get retaliatory action. And in fact, maybe Ford realized the language didn't fit a black brother. Marlon Johnson was not too good on his slang, but he didn't take retaliatory action. And in fact, what happened was unable to get the Blackstone Rangers to do their bidding. They had O'Neill go in and get a floor plan that showed everything, the entire layout of the apartment, including the bed where Fred Hampton slept.
Hi, my name is Heather Schooler, owner of the company Help Me Finish, and newly developed business billionaire breakthrough system. I want to talk today about my friend Zelda Robinson, who has created this mindful breakthrough system, which is absolutely phenomenal. And you want to know what I learned from it? I learned that I can stop the negative patterns in my life through one simple word: stop. And I think about that all the time. Every time I see a red light, I remember to stop. Every time I see a stop sign, I remember to stop. So even when I'm having a bad day and I can see a stop sign, it'll remind me of what Zelda's taught me. So if you guys haven't taken her program, you need to sign up for her program, because we all need to stop the negative voices in our head, and she's got the tools to help you do it. I'm Heather Schooler, owner of Help Me Finish, and I hope you guys sign up. And when you sign up, have a fantastic day every day, because that's what Zelda's going to teach you to do.
Hey, this is Bill Walsh with the Power Team Success TV Network. I am so honored that I have an amazing speaker, a gifted author that literally is taking the world by storm with her message. Zelda Robinson, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
Gosh, we're so honored to have you on the show. So maybe you could share with some of the promoters around the country and individuals thinking about booking you to speak, just a bit of your background would be great.
Well, I worked 20 years in radio. I retired from radio. But that radio career turned into motivational speaking.
Yep.
And as a result of that, I got into television. But there was always something in the back of my mind. You've got a message. You need to go back and share that. So I started back, and this is the place to be with the International Power Team so that I can get my message across.
And so when you do speak at a lot of events, right, what are a few of your main speaking topics that you like to share with audiences?
Well, the main topics I like to share are for entrepreneurs and for business owners who have a daily struggle of thoughts coming into their head about what they can and cannot do. I have a mindfulness training program, a system that will help you get to where you need to be.
And I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs face that.
Oh,
I'm sure a lot of small business go through that challenge. And of course, if you're listening today and you're looking for a great speaker in a book, she owns this space, she lives in it every day, and she's helping a lot of individuals have that big breakthrough. So what would you say when you do and you go speak at these events, what would you say is the one big takeaway the audience walks away with? If there was like an aha moment that they would have that they'd say, oh my gosh, I learned so much from it. This is one of the big things that I learned.
Well, one of the greatest gifts that I have is mindfulness, and it's learning how the brain functions so that you don't beat up on yourself, all those negative thoughts that you have. You learn how the brain functions and how to not cover up, but replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. And there's a whole process. It's a system.
That's pretty awesome. I know you travel around, you're willing to speak globally, whether it's local, national, regional, it doesn't matter, you're there. I know you're excited about getting that message out there. What is the best way for promoters watching this video today, or someone's watching the video, that they could get some more information about you?
Just look at the website at the bottom of the screen. That's how you can contact me.
That's awesome. And all you got to do, once again, if you're looking for a great speaker, she's definitely the one. You'll love her at your event. And I can tell you that I'm excited to see you change even more lives.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thanks for being on the Power Team, Success TV Network.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed, into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness session on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Christina Grodick with European American Association. I am the Community Relations Manager. And just in regards to the meditation that we did after the Philanthropy Club meeting, it was great because it gave me such a feeling of relief, and the softness of Zelda's voice made me slow down and take pace at what I was doing. Kind of made me concentrate on my breathing. So it was just such an asset to have that portion of our meeting. I don't think you get that quite at every meeting. It was just such an asset.
Hi, I'm Barry Corin. Time exchange coalitions are going on. We're building two coalitions, one on the west side and one in the Oak Park area, but they meet together. Zelda is fabulous. I love everything she does, everything she says, and her meditations are wonderful.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed, into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone.
Hi, my name is Corinne, and I really enjoyed the meditation you did today at the ministry. What is it?
Westside Ministry
Westside, yeah, Westside Ministry Coalition.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed, into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone.
quite a long time. It's hard to remember.
Did you?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
That's called touching history and greatness. That's called touching history and greatness. That's called touching history and greatness. No, yes. Thank you.
We're here, we're learning the history, moving forward, and we're free to use your
My classroom is throwing a workshop on the prison industrial complex at DePaul, and I would like to know if you want to come. We'd be very honored to have you.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Haas, and I am the author of the book, The Assassination of Fred Hampton, How the FBI and the Chicago Police Murdered a Black Panther. It's the story of the conspiracy to murder Fred Hampton and the legal battle to uncover those responsible for its murder, for Fred Hampton's murder. And you can get this on Amazon or at your local independent bookstore. My website is www.hamptonbook.com. You are watching the Higher Learning Network.
Described by police as a depot for Black Panther Party arms and ammunition. 14 States Attorney's policemen, led by Sergeant Daniel Grove, found out indeed it was a depot for weapons. After a 15-minute gun battle that cost Illinois Black Panther Party Chairman Fred Hampton his life, as soon as Sergeant Daniel Grove and Officer James Davis, who were leading our men, announced their office, occupants of the apartment attacked them with shotgun fire.
Sir, you say your men were fired upon. Witnesses who have seen the apartment say there is no evidence of bullets from the direction where the Panthers supposedly were to be.